Hello and happiest of days to each of you folks. I hope you guys are having just an absolutely amazing day today. So today for my Video Game Wednesday, we're going to do reviews of older things that might have been forgotten about or that really influenced us. Or more recent things a few years ago that are independent films, video games that we might have forgotten about. I've been doing the Baldur's Gate series, that sort of a thing. And I started with Baldur's Gate 1 a couple of weeks ago, and I've already put like 20 or 30 more hours into that video game playing it. And that's sort of a thing. I reviewed Siege of Dragonspear last week, and then I am reviewing Baldur's Gate 2 today from 2000. And then I will be reviewing for you folks Baldur's Gate 3 next week. Alright, so this was released on September 11th, 2000 in North America, and it was released the next month in November 15th. November 15th, 2013 for the extended edition. Sorry about that. For you folks, and then so let's get this started. Alright, so I played this as soon as it was released on my PC. It was made by BioWare and published by them too, as well as Interplay. And the extended edition is by Beamtalk. Alrighty, so this is produced by Ben Stemstead. It is designed by James Olin and Kevin Martins. And it is programmed by Mark Dara, and music is pretty good here too, so it's musical. Art by Marcia Toffer, I think it's Toffer. It's on Steam Extended Edition right now for $20 and GOG 2. I'll link you to it below. So fans on Steam rank this at 92% good stuff. Lots. And at Metacritic, it's at a strong 95% good stuff. Good stuff there too. This RPG sequel to the beloved classic has moves into the country of Om and its city, and that sort of a thing from the area around the Sword Coast and Baldur's Gate, and that sort of a thing. So this moves from the open world into much more of a city setting, and sort of thing. Before you could kind of go anywhere and do anything, and sure, you could do that here to a lesser degree. As long as the troopers were open, you could go pretty much anywhere on the map you wanted to go, and that sort of a thing. But here again, you have to sort of get that taken care of. In a lesser way. So, here you're still exploring, but it's more of a city-based kind of thing. That sort of a thing. Or you might be doing a lot more dungeon delving here than in the previous one. So it's a little less open world as a result. But all the RPG stuff that you love is here too. Love it lots for those reasons. Alrighty, so this is based on the second edition of Dungeons & Dragons, and it's a great transition of that, as well as the Forgotten Realms too. Alright, it's best-selling, it's a huge game, everybody loves it. I know a lot of people prefer this game to the first game for a lot of reasons, but I prefer the first one. I think it's better to my mind because there are tons more NPCs, which I like lots of. To add to your party, and it's also easier to be evil in the first game than the second game because there are less evil companions running around. I mean, in the first game you could have Viconia, Adwin as your mage, Viconia as your cleric, Shartiel as your frontline warrior, right? That sort of a thing. It was pretty easy to put together an evil party, right? And that sort of a thing. But now, with that, it's a little harder in Baldur's Gate 2 without the extended edition. Who are you going to have in your party other than Viconia? Right? We don't have any mages. We don't have any frontline fighters, right? And that sort of a thing. So who are you going to put into your party? I don't know. That sort of thing. So it feels a little less. Now, the one good thing that they did add here was romanceable options, but there's a bias. If you're playing a male, which they probably just assumed that most of the players would play, because most of the buyers were male, right? You could have a lot of romance options from Viconia to area, right, and other stuff too. But if you're a female, one character only. And it's not even that great of an option, right? So and that sort of thing. So they put in like one sort of, if you want to, but then let's move on, right? And so And so they didn't really sort of develop that. I don't think that was a good job by BioWare. I don't think that was a smart decision, because I think they just underlined the fact that this game wasn't written for female characters. And you can be, just surprisingly, as I have done in the past, you can be a man and play a female character. And vice versa. It's not required. Right? And that sort of thing. So, you can do that, right? I had an all-female party once. It was very, very hard to do that in Baldur's Gate 2. And have a romanceable option too, right? Yeah, right, or have right, and so forth, and that sort of a thing. That's one of the reasons why I like the extended edition, because the male characters that are added are romanceable for one, rather than just being there. Also, there are romanceable. I also don't like that some of the female characters that feel romanceable, like Nalia or Mazzy, are romanceable either, which feels a little weird. I think they should have pushed that up to the next level. Alrighty, but there you are. You can go ahead and check that out. So it's still a 10 out of 10, but I just don't feel like they did a good job with, having it for female characters, having romanceable options. That sort of thing. Because like I said, if you're going to be a guy, you're going to play a male character, and you're going to have lots of options, but not Nalia, who's an obvious romanceable option, right? And that sort of a thing. After you help her out. So I don't like it as much for those reasons, and less NPCs too. Also, it's less of an open world. You're not exploring. There's more of a set cities and dungeons and like the Underdark and that sort of thing. Right. So it feels a little bit different for those reasons, but it's still 10 out of 10 for you folks. But a lot of people prefer this because of the NPC interactions, because of how great everybody gets along, and how you have to have a perfect party because you can romance somebody and that sort of thing. But I definitely am somebody who more appeals to the previous one. Alright, but your mileage may vary. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, whatever your thoughts are. Again, as a reminder, I do video games. I've done recently Polar Radiance. I've done Wasteland recently too. The Wasteland video game. I've done lots of other things too. Like more recent things like I've done Crusader Kings 3, I've done EU4, I've done Stellaris, I've also did, we'll do the occasional more recent one that was just released, if I played it within a week or two of releasing 40 or 50 hours into it. I did 2 reviews, Planet Coaster 2, right after putting about a couple weeks into it, like 100 hours. And then 2 Point Museum also did the week after playing like 40 hours, and I probably put like 60 or 70 hours into it now. So yeah, if that's the sort of thing you like, you can check this out too. And that sort of thing. I also do Let's Plays. Right now I'm doing Let's Plays from Evil Genius 1, the classic, where you're playing James Bond spoof, or you're playing the bad guy as a baseballer. And you're setting up for the forces to come your way. Right, that sort of thing. Alright, so check that out. 2. And then, or the other older ones too, that's your thing too. And then I also, on Monday, I do reviews of older RPGs, like I did Middle Earth role playing review as an example, or BattleTech, like Wargaming Institute, that are a little older. I did my top max from each of the various tiaras. Right now, I'm reviewing modules from Dungeons and Dragons and that sort of thing. So you check those out too. And right now, I'm currently doing. I just did B7's Rahasia by Laura and Tracy Hickman. I put them on the map. You'll probably know Tracy Hickman from his modules like Don't Dragonloft, that heavily influenced, or just his novels in the Dragonlance realms with Margaret Wise. So check this out too. And then next week will be B8 for you folks, and then we'll finish. And then we're just doing the basic series and such from the early 80s. And then on Friday, I do top 10s. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I just finished up doing some ranking top 10. I did all the ranking the Star Wars films, the Star Trek shows, and then the Star Trek films, and that sort of thing. So I don't know what I'm going to do next. I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking about it. But I got to write up tomorrow and then record it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. On Saturday rather, I do something I call Serial Saturday, that I dedicate to the serial telling genres that's sort of forgotten, movie serials and TV serials like Doctor Who. I've reviewed the first 2 seasons of Doctor Who from the 60s, as well as tons of movie serials. Right now I'm doing Zorro. I just did the first Zorro film from 37 by Republic, and you'll get that recorded I just pushed up there for you folks. It's called Radar Patrol versus Spiking. It's a post-World War II, like set in 49, with some post Nazis that are trying to set up the bad stuff for us. All right, yeah, and so you check this out too, if you like that stuff from Flash Gordon and other stuff too. And then so those are the 4 reviews, and then I give 3 days of a week. I do things like reviews of the things that you read, like books or novels or stuff, or short stories, or novellas, or poems sometimes, or prose poems even, with Clark Smith, or a couple of Lovecraft too. So if you like that stuff, those older things, check them out too. And then if you like those 7 older reviews or stuff like that, and it sounds like your cup of tea, great. Welcome to the channel. Have a seat and take your shoes off. I think you'll enjoy your time here. Right. Just please do all the YouTube stuff. Like hit the subscribe button, the like button, watch, share, and then let your friends know. I'm sorry, hit the bell icon too to be notified of my 7 videos a week if you're feeling risky. Alrighty, but there you are. And then, as you can tell from the passion of this channel and the title too, that's where it comes from, all these older things, right? Because the title is the worst thing about new books. To quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Gilbert, who said that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old ones, right? And in our passion for the new novel, the new video game, in this case, the new movie, right, that sort of a thing, we have sometimes forgot, right, that they are standing on the shoulders of giants, right? So check out those giants and those influential things too. I think we'll appreciate them more. Also, it's not that the new things are bad. They're not, right? I've done some new things, like I mentioned before, here and there. But again, that's the passion of the channel. Check it out. I think you'll enjoy it much. All right. So, I want to thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investing it in watching my videos, because we all have so many things, right, that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.